Douglas Stenstrom and teachers from Crooms High School, Sanford Museum Meeting Room.
I'm Martha Franklin, assistant.
38 years teaching.
This is a write-up of my husband. They called quite a few years before he passed.
Oh, yeah. Well, the name Boykin has been, I've known of that for years.
I don't know him. They might know him. What? Arthur Bateman?
No, Brewington.
Brewington. Lives on Southwest Road. Didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know him?
Van
Brewington.
Goldsboro was an incorporated municipality one time.
Yeah.
This is a appointment, post office appointment of William Boykin, her relative, as the postmaster of Goldsboro. Now, isn't that something? In 1898.
Just hold what's on the form here. Over right here.
It just wasn't Sanford, it was Mellonville, Sanford, and Goldsboro.
There's Earl. You want to just trade out what we're talking about and put the other one up? Take one down, put one up? This is all, that's the side. Where you got the board under.
Yes. It's right.
Yeah, I got that.
That's Earl, you know Earl.
Yeah, everybody know Mr. Minott, don't they?
Minott.
Yeah.
Yes, I talked with him.
How in the world did you keep
Except for Alicia.
How you doing?
This is Mr. Minott. Earl Minott. Mr. Earl Minott.
I bet
And
you
this is
could eat
Alicia.
a dozen donuts today and never gave them out. Like Patricia Austin.
Chris Harry had mentioned you.
I said, I bet he could eat a dozen donuts a day and not gave them out. Now, you retired in 1978.
I retired in 1978, but I taught three years over at the daycare center. And the Sanford Herald sent somebody out there to interview me, just to write up my life, teaching life.
There's Kenneth Wing's daughter down there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you've got room. We'll go ahead, if some more come in, we'll pull up some more chairs. We want to thank Irma. Irma, you're a volunteer, aren't you?
No, I'm on staff.
Good for you. I'm proud of you. She's on the staff. I know she's here every time I get to come in, and we appreciate her, and she suggested this meeting, and we appreciate the suggestions that come in. And but this is the first time we've had Miss Stinecipher, Grace Marie, who is the president of the Sanford Historical Society, and really it seems to me is going along better than it ever has. We've had a bunch of presidents all through the years, most of whom really tried to keep up with General Sanford's possessions.
Now that's Atlantic coastline train. That's those old farmers. That's landing in this.
Now I knew Walter Betty Joseph. Worked for him. Irma.
That's one of the museum's pictures. That's one of the museum's pictures.
No,
They used it to put in.
Oh, they did?
Oh, you've got that?
Yeah, it belongs to the museum. I put the picture in.
In the paper?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I'm the one that puts in the old time pictures.
This Pound had this, her husband was on here. She had this picture she gave to me. Right.
Have you got that on there? Okay. Today is February 22nd. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're in the Tommy Peterson room of the Sanford Museum. And Irma, would you get down the names of those that are present? You've got them already.
I already have.
And we want to thank you for coming. We are, our curator, Miss Clarke, has her master's degree in museum and library science. And one of the things that the colleges and universities that have this discipline say that it's most important is to get oral histories, oral records about people, and so that, like if we had something by General Sanford talking to us, and they're doing this. Lorraine Whiting told me that they had done this several years ago, and they have a whole lot of tapes.
I understand that.
She said they would allow us to make copies of. And so we've been doing this for about 2 or 3 months now. And Irma, I'm going to let you go ahead and start it off here. You want to talk about the teaching? Did you want to do that?
Well, yes, the original concept was to have some of the teachers come in and talk about Crooms Academy, you know, in its beginning, and Professor Crooms, and then into the schools now, because after the schools integrated, and then there was talk about Goldsboro in general, you know, the things that was happening in Goldsboro.
Ms. Franklin, let me ask you this. When did you come to Sanford?
I was born and reared in Sanford, and I attended Goldsboro primary school. At that time it was
Goldsboro primary.
And then I went to Crooms Academy, and
did you finish at Crooms?
I graduated from
What
Crooms.
year did you graduate? Now, some of the things I'll be asking,
39.
I know the answers to, but just to get them in the... You graduated?
30.
30 what?
38, I think.
8? That's when Dr. Morgan and I graduated.
And then I went to Bethune-Cookman. And at that time, you could go and get a normal degree, they call it, just a 2-year degree. And that was as high as Bethune-Cookman. That was their stopping block.
Was Dr. Moore there then?
No, Mrs. Bethune was there.
She was there. Dr. Moore took her place.
I had her picture, I think. Did I give you a picture of her?
Yes, I brought it. I think
I gave you a picture of her.
She was a great woman.
And then I went back during the summer and got my BS degree, and then continued to get, further my education in the summer.
Now, when you started teaching here in Sanford, who was our superintendent?
Mr. Lawton, T.W. Lawton.
Mr. Lawton.
And I taught in a one-teacher school in Wagner, the place now where it's Winter Springs.
Wagner, out on the road
Wagner,
toward Oviedo.
That's where I taught. I taught there until 1950, and I moved in down to Goldsboro Elementary to teach. It was Goldsboro Primary. I moved down there. It might have been elementary then when I moved down in 1950. And it was Joanna Moore, his aunt, was the principal. And she asked, I moved in, Mr. Lord let me move in from out there. I taught out there 9 years at Wagner. By myself at one teacher school.
And when did you come in from Wagner?
1950.
50. So you were driving out there from Fort
Every day, and I would...
What kind of car did you drive out there?
it was I think it was a T-Model. it was an old car. And children would go with me, some children from Sanford. The parents said they wanted them to go out there with me because it was a farming area out there. And we only had a few children out there. And so I would take, to make my enrollment, the parents would let them go with me. And every morning I would pick them up and we would go to Wagner. And so I did that for 9 years. And the highest the highest grade I taught out there was 8th grade. I taught first through 8th grade. And the way I did, I would let the older children help me teach the younger children. It's like I have 1 or 2 in first grade and 1 or 2 in this grade, because you didn't have kindergarten at that time. And so they would help me, and then I would teach them. That's where we got to ban us off.
Well, Miss Franklin, how old were you when you started teaching at Wagner?
Maybe, let me see, about 20-something.
Now, this is the big question. How much did the county pay you?
$38, I think it was.
Of what?
Per month.
Can you believe it? Really?
38 and going to 40. Oh, you were doing good. Great then.
Exactly.
Mother got paid $30, I think,
She
when
did?
she first started.
Yeah.
Miss Stinecipher's mother taught that she got paid 30.
I think so. I think the most year we got was 120.
Yeah, well, then I moved in 1950 to Goldsboro.
Right.
And I taught there until they integrated. And when they integrated, Mr. Heckenbach, Pinecrest.
Heckenbach went to Pinecrest.
He was there, and what he did, they paired off Goldsboro and Pinecrest paired off. What it mean by that? Pinecrest took 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grades, and Goldsboro had 4th and 5th.
Yes.
5th grade, and Mr. Heckenbach he only took. They had to have some black teachers out there.
Yeah.
They did have some black teachers out there, because a few years before then, like Betty Washington and all of them, I guess he had about 6 or 7, Hortense Evans, she was teaching out there at that time. But he moved his teachers down in the grades to keep from losing them, the black teachers. And he took 2 of Mr. Reefo, who was my principal then, when they integrated. Miss Moore had passed on.
That was 1970.
whenever they integrated, wasn't it 1970?
70. So did Seminole, I'm sure you must have done
Court
all of them.
decision, the suit was filed in December of 70 in the federal court in Jacksonville.
And I was one of
And
the...
we moved to have it transferred to the federal court in Orlando. And in August of 1971, the federal judge entered the order, consent decree, which integrated our public schools.
And do you know if it happened overnight?
Now, I may be...
I mean overnight,
That was
when I mean by overnight when we knew.
Well, I know it. We beat everybody. 17 counties were sued at the same time. And we got ours done in 8 months.
Yeah.
Some of them took 5 and 6 and 7 years to do. But I may be wrong. It might have been 69 and 70.
Yes, it was 70.
It was filed in December of 69, so the consent decree was August. I got it at home, the decree, August of 70.
Well, I was one of the lucky ones. Out of the 38 teachers, he only took 2 black teachers from Goldsboro. We had 38 out there. And so our principal, Mr. Reefo, Herman Reefo, he called me that night, Miss Franklin. I said, yeah, they're integrated, and I only know where 2 of my teachers are going. That's you and Miss Thelma Hall. She was to be here this morning, but she couldn't get here. She coming from Daytona, but she couldn't get here. And so he said, y'all would be going to Pinecrest, and the others will have to come to Goldsboro on a standby and wait for principals all over the county to call in for black teachers. That's the way we did. That's the way we integrated.
Well, what did you teach then
I taught first grade all the way.
And that was a brand new school, wasn't it? Or wasn't new then,
No,
was it?
wasn't. I taught first grade.
There you go.
Until I retired.
Yeah.
And then I went over here to, I went over here to Jimmy
First impression.
Brooks. You might remember him. He died overnight.
I can't remember.
Head of daycare center. Died. He was being told
First impression.
first impressions. And I went over there and taught 3 years.
And you finished up how many years total? Total.
38, 39, 40.
40 years.
41
years.
But I see after I retired there, I went over there and taught.
And you have your retirement under our state and county teachers.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, then along the way, did you marry somebody?
Yeah.
Who was he?
Sylvester Franklin. He used to work for the Dodge Garage. He is Dodge Garage down there, and you might remember him down there. Worked for Dodge. Then he went into...
Out on Westford Street?
Yeah, down... It was
Does that
down
be
there.
Ben Howland? Ben Howland? Mr. Howland?
No.
No,
It wasn't Hemp Hill, was it?
no, Hemphill was in the Buick.
I'm trying to think.
I don't know who was the Dodge.
And his name was what?
Sylvester Franklin.
Right, and
And he worked for Chase and Company, then he went into the hauling business. He was his own boss. He self-employed. And
is he still?
He's dead
And when did you lose him?
in 91. May
Didn't
of
lose
91.
him, that's not the right word.
Well, I did.
91?
Yeah.
Did y'all have children?
Yeah, I had 2 sons.
Uh-huh.
Sylvester and one of my boys got killed. I had 3. One of them, I died at childbirth. Then I had a boy to get killed on a motorcycle in 76. And he was
And the
19
other boy,
at
is he
that
still
time.
alive?
Yeah, he worked for Florida Department of Light a long time. Now he's over in Volusia County working for the school board as a mechanic.
You get to see him?
He lived with me.
Oh, that means a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, he just why I separated.
You're
Willie Mae
talking
Franklin.
about
You might remember
motorcycles.
Willie Mae Franklin.
2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we had a guy down here and he told us back in the 20s and 30s, there's a fellow around town here that had a motorcycle and had a car on the side. And he rode this motorcycle down the bulkhead, that 2-foot strip on the bulkhead, and the car was out over the water.
Yeah.
And they paid for these rides. Can you imagine such a thing? Well, now listen, what is your name now?
I'm Earl Minott.
Earl, M-I-N-O-T-T.
Right.
And Earl, how long have you been in Sanford?
Well, I came to Sanford when I was about 1.
And who were your parents?
Okay, my mother's name was Irma from Umbriston, and my father was Kirby Minott.
And they lived where?
She lived in Miami,
Uh-huh.
but I was raised by my aunt, Joanna Moore.
Oh,
the principal of
the principal. And you came here to live with her.
She came down and got me. She had raised my mother from when she was 9 years.
Did you go through the schools here?
Yes.
Did you finish at Crooms?
Yes.
Were you an athlete?
No, I played basketball, but I wasn't an
I was.
athlete.
Looks like a basketball.
He's a musician.
I thought,
He was the one that had all those graduations at Seminole High. He was over those graduations for years until he retired. They called him Mr. Graduate, Mr. Graduation.
well, we've heard the name for years.
Yeah.
And did you get married?
No.
You never married.
I was always taking care of somebody in the family.
Well, let's see. Did you taught too?
Yes, I taught.
Well, where did you teach now?
I taught at Crooms and at Seminole. here in
Now
town.
tell me, what were your impressions of Dr. J. N. Crooms?
Well, I had known him all my life.
He's a little fellow, wasn't he?
Short in stature.
Always wore a hat.
And well dressed at all times. For one thing, he was my piano teacher for about 10 years, I imagine. while I was in high school, in elementary school. So we were together at school and at his home, because that's where he taught.
I know this is my own knowledge. Dr. T.W. Lawton leaned heavily on Dr. Crooms
Yes.
in running the school system. He was a great friend of Mary McLeod Bethune, personal friends. And let's see, when did Dr. Crooms expire, pass away?
I know he retired in 1953.
He did?
I don't know what year.
And what do you remember about Dr. Crooms, Ms. Franklin?
Well, he was my principal, and he taught me Latin.
Latin?
Taught us all Latin.
Did you get Latin too, Alfreda?
Yes, I did language.
Yes.
John and I sure got it, didn't we?
Now, what I
The
liked
whole
about-
goal is
So
divided
did
into
I.
three parts.
Who taught you?
Now,
We
what I-
were in Nellie Coleman's
Yeah.
first class,
Oh.
John Morgan and me.
She taught me.
Now, what I liked about Professor, he started
You
his
ask
day.
anything you think of.
He started his day with. We always had devotion.
We
That's
did
what we
too.
had
Oh, yeah.
every.
Wish we had it
We
today.
had.
Yeah, we all had it
Even
today.
that we went to chapel. We called it chapel. We
Yeah.
went to chapel every day.
Every morning.
You had Bible reading, you had
Yeah.
prayer, and you had a hymn, and we saluted the flag.
But we did that at Goldsboro too, and I taught Sunday school. At least I was superintendent for 30-some years at New Mount Calvary, and that's Irma's church. and
Did you do a good job with Irma?
yeah, I don't know if I did so good.
I know you did.
But anyway, when I was at Goldsboro, there was a group of ladies that was with a Bible group. They were white ladies. They would come around and they would have their flannel bow and told a lot of little stories and taught the children songs. I even sang some of those songs in Sunday school now, and taught the children, and they would give them and have them learn Bible verses. And when they learned those Bible verses, they would give them little Bibles. That was happening at Goldsboro. They went around to the different schools, and they would tell about those Bible stories. They had a flannel board up there and demonstrate. And that meant a lot to the children.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever teach with Dr. Black, with Mr. Blackshear?
No.
You did.
Earl, my
I
man.
did.
Did you too? He's still alive, isn't he?
Yes.
Where does he live now?
He lives in Sanford now. He was out in Markville.
He was the principal.
He was the principal
Took Dr.
over me.
Crooms' place, didn't he?
No, after.
Who followed? Joanna Moore was first, wasn't she?
No, she was at the elementary school.
Elementary. Dr. Crooms,
Crooms
and then
was
who
at-
followed him?
Then came Douglas. No, Allen. Allen. His name was Roy Allen. He came to us from Philadelphia, I believe. Then after Mr. Allen died, then Mr. Douglas came in as H.L. Douglas.
H.L. Douglas.
He was a science teacher here at the time, so he took over, and then Mr. Blackshear.
Who was the last principal of Hopper Academy?
Colorado. No, Junior Haynes.
Adam Haynes, I believe.
You said Hopper. Hopper's a girl.
Hopper.
Yeah.
What grades? And this is Alfreda Wallace. Alfreda, what grades did Hopper have?
I don't know.
Do you remember any of them?
First through fifth.
First through fifth?
I believe it was.
Hopper had first through, when did Crooms?
Oh, he's talking about the new school.
Come out when they retired. The new school, I'm talking about.
No, I was thinking of the old Hopper.
The
He
old
had
Hopper
a-
one. Oh, the
Old?
old one?
Yeah,
The old
the
Hopper
one
one.
they're trying to get, made into a story.
And I was telling you, these principals there, when, the old, through the last, of Hopper.
Remember they moved it down near the school board. They use that as an annex building now.
Sure.
Well, I have some material from the old Hopper, from
Yeah.
the sixth grade students,
I'm talking about the wooden
the wooden
building.
Some
That's
of the
about
sixth,
12th Street.
some of the sixth grade students.
Elma?
This is,
Yeah, Alma Person.
Laura Fulton. Laura Fulton gave me some information. There were some sixth grade students that teaching different teachers.
The old Hopper went higher than 6th grade.
Coming on Pine.
Yeah, where the building is now, the old building now.
Yeah, I'm talking about the old building, because I went there.
So before integration, we had 3 all-black schools, which was Hopper and Goldsboro and Crooms and Sanford.
Now the children from Obeda, from
Altamont.
Altamont, Forest City, maybe other place, Bookertown, Jamestown, Geneva, all those children had to come to Crooms.
Busing into Crooms.
Bust them in the Crooms. They had high school right there in those suburbs, but they had to pass by those schools to come into Crooms.
Which was wrong.
And they were living in Obeda, but they had to come all the way in to Crooms.
Was that the only black high school
Yes.
Yeah.
in Seminole County?
Yeah.
Well,
One I
now,
remember
we
hearing
had,
about.
we had Midway too,
Yeah.
and then we had an elementary school in Altamont.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rosenwald.
Rosenwald.
It came to me, old Hopper went to 10th grade, and when Crooms was built, they put on 11th and 12th. Those Winfields, and it was 2 or 3 students was in that grade. Oh, when I was read on this side of town, and I think.
Well, when did Crooms open, and you're Mrs. Boykin?
Yeah, that's my mother-in-law.
Okay, and when did Crooms open?
I don't know what year that was.
26,
26.
126, because I came in 24 and I was in 2nd grade.
one of them, 20-something, 28.
It was way up there.
The first class was in 31. First
And
graduating
that's because my
class.
brother helped build Crooms. And I was in 5th or 6th grade when Crooms opened.
Well, let me see if I get it straight. Before Crooms, Hopper Academy took the children in the North End from 1st through 10th grade, 1st through 10.
That was the old Hopper.
Hopper.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about the old, the
Yeah.
one that they're trying to
Uh-huh.
restore.
That's not.
That's not the old Hopper? There was one
There
before
was
that?
one where the Elks Rest is now. Isn't that the one?
No, that wasn't Hopper.
What was that?
Now, I don't know what to call it. When I first came here, I went there and, I don't know, the first year, Herman was my classmate. Then I went to, Hopper is cross in front of Eunice. That's old Hopper.
I know they used to talk about
Two-story
it.
building like it is now.
You're
They
talking
went through
about
10th
Eunice
grade.
Wilson.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the school I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
You
It went
remember
through
that
10th
what children went from the 1st through the 10th grade.
I don't know whether it was first through, I don't believe it was first through 10th, but I know they went through 10th grade. When there was a school there was 7th and Cypress. I forget what grades it went through, because I went there my first year here. And
That's the one they told me
I
was
can't
the
think
old
of
Hopper.
Who was Hopper the name of a citizen?
Yes.
What was his full name? Do you know?
Mrs.
Or anything
Bentley-
about it?
Miss Bentley could tell you. Miss Bentley could tell you definitely. Because she said it was persons that they named it after. It wasn't the way they spell it now.
Well, it's been spelled for years, Hopper.
But I think she said that it was Harper.
That's interesting. That's like Weekava and Weekava
Yeah.
and other names that we have mixed up.
Did y'all realize that we had so many one-teacher schools?
No, I didn't.
We had several one-teacher schools. We had one at our city. We had one at Geneva. We had Mr. What's the name? Marvin, brother name. Mr. Muller was the principal of Oviedo. But then we had one at Jamestown, and I was at Wagner, and one in Boykin, that was Sip Brixie, one in, all of these are one teacher schools.
Yeah, now there are people here that don't know where Jamestown was. Where was Jamestown?
Near Oviedo. Between,
Lord, if I knew that.
It's between Oviedo and
We definitely didn't know, so.
You go through Oviedo and go east, don't you?
James, go to Oviedo and go to Jamestown, then
Is that what they call Snow Hill now?
no.
No. Snow Hill had a one teacher school too.
It did?
Because Susan Glacier worked out there.
No, that is something I did not know.
We had all those one teachers, just one teacher with the principal and everything else.
Now, Bookertown
That's
was
it.
out at Lake Monroe.
Yeah, that was still precinct.
And even before then, my cousin taught at a school in
Fort Mellon.
Fort Mellon.
Oh.
That was one of the
That was
one
one
teacher
teacher
schools too.
Where was that?
What
That's
Mellon?
right out
Right
here.
up.
As I could go
You know
into
where
the meat
Fort
house
Mellon?
out that way.
Fort Mellon.
You know, they could go in the Hopkins meat house.
What about Fort Reed?
It's on that road.
Fort Reed was,
That's on that
that's
road.
where Fort
South
Reed is.
Sanford Avenue?
Yeah, you go straight out of Sanford.
I remember Francis taught a little bit.
But they call it Fort Mellon, way out there? And not Fort Reed?
Fort Reed.
Oh, Fort
Reed, actually,
Reed,
because
yeah,
Fort
okay.
Mellon is right up
Yeah,
there. Fort Mellon, yeah.
I guess all these buildings are down, aren't they?
No, I saw the one out here at Fort Mellon or Fort Reed. It's there now, but they are remodeling. Cause where I can tell you, it has a roof or something around it, you know, with not a stair, but a banister around the top of it. It's out there.
I thought they tore all the buildings down in
No,
Fort
not that one.
Reed.
That was right on Sanford Avenue. Where I know that's it.
On Sanford Avenue.
I used to go. Bright would come to Viola Bright taught there. She would come to my school one year for we have different things, and I go to her school, and I know that school is still there, but it's somebody living. It's a house now. Somebody living in it.
Okay, but did they move it and put it on Sanford Avenue?
No,
It's the same place where it was
Same
before?
place.
Is it beyond 25th Street?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That might be where Al Dowling used to live. I didn't know that house was
I know
still
there's a
up.
Fort Mellon Park now, but I don't know about a school
That's
being
not
there.
Fort Mellon, that's Fort Reed.
Yeah.
Well, how many one teacher schools would you say that in the late 20s and 30s we have?
We had one out in Markham too, for Fort Reed teacher.
That's that little school at Markham.
No, they were talking that down there.
Now, I only thing I can do is about 8, I guess.
8?
Yeah.
Is that so? Now, these children, were they bused or they walked to school?
They walked to school because it was in those different areas, and they didn't have no school to go to.
Yes.
And so the black children, all of them were black children. And see, the white children that were living in these, some of them was farming areas.
Yes.
And they, the
Yes.
black people worked on these farms.
Yes.
And the children had to go to school.
Sure.
And so that's where the one teacher school
Now,
came.
for the record, Miss Franklin, can you remember the names of some of the teachers that taught in the one-teacher schools? Give us some of those.
All right.
You mentioned Sip Bracy out at Bookerville.
Bookertown.
Bookerville.
Bookertown. Bookertown. Doug.
That's a new one, look at there.
Who else?
Leola Bryant, she's dead.
Leola Bryant.
Fort Reed.
And you had one in Markham.
Miss James, I remember Miss James, that was at, going with, when we were talking about, Jamestown.
Before,
Let me finish this one. Don't try my thoughts. And Geneva was Ida Muller.
Was that in relation to Muller that,
Yeah.
and Oviedo, was that his mother?
That was his sister.
His sister?
And Ida me, no, Alfreda. One taught us no here, one taught, let me see. Susan Glacier taught. See, when I was Susan Glacier, I don't know, might have been her. It was one of the sisters taught at Geneva, and one taught at, what's the other? Snow Hill. One of them taught there. And Forest City was Louise, her Louise name, Blair. So she would ride with me and Mr. Hamilton. He would be going to Oviedo. He took on the
Hamilton. That our school is named for?
Yeah.
How many children were in your graduating class in 38?
In 38, I had one to graduate from 8th grade. And I had that picture too somewhere.
No, I mean, how many in your class?
In my class, there was about 17, I believe.
17?
Yeah.
there's another teacher y'all omitted.
Yeah, Miss
Miss
Boykin.
Olive Strickland was taught in Booker Town before Sid Bracer went there.
But
Dr. Strickland.
I was talking about the ones I remember.
Yeah, but she was there before Sid Bracer.
Now, Miss Boykin, you were born here?
No, I was born in Georgia. When my mother came here, I was in 2nd grade. They came here in 1924,
And you started school where?
7th Street, in
Seventh
Cypress Avenue. Then I left there and went to Hopper Academy. And y'all spelled Hopper wrong, because I tell you, there's so many years, it's H-O-P-P-E-R. That's what it was
That's
when I
the
was
way I always
attended
said
there.
it.
Not H-A-R, it's H-O-P-P-E-R. Hopper
Other one.
Academy. Way
The
back,
person they were supposed to name it after.
yeah.
Well, now, the school at 7th and Cypress, what was the name of that?
I didn't know that, but just a elementary school,
Just
7th
a
and
school.
Cypress.
Okay. Now, then you went on to Crooms and finished
I
Crooms.
went to Hopper, and I left Hopper and went to Crooms. I did finish. I come out of school. I was in 11th grade, and I was home for Christmas, and thought I was in love. I got married.
We've all had that experience.
And I was finished. We were keeping a secret. Miss Bethune told me, all I want you to do is finish 12th grade and come to me. But I thought I was in love. Got married, and instead of finishing school, I started a family.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Now, you were talking about Mary McLeod Bethune?
Yeah.
You knew her?
Yeah.
When did you get to know her?
Well, before I ever got married. I got married in 32.
She was a great person.
Yeah. And that's where I went.
I did love her.
I was under her. She was the president of Bethune-Cookman when I went there.
And you knew her too well?
She's the founder of that school.
Okay. So, then how many, but how many were in your class that you remember? When would you have graduated if you'd
I
stayed?
would have graduated in 33.
33.
But I can't remember how many was in the class.
Now, I want to ask you all a question. The way we started these things had to do with sports. When you think of athletics at Crooms, who do you think of? Great football player, basketball.
Was Lonnie Thomas during that time?
Lonnie Thomas?
Lonnie Thomas. He was a great player.
What did he play?
I don't know.
You
What position he played?
You weren't in love with him before
No,
you
he's like my sister. He was tall and heavy.
You was a great player, but you know where he played.
Now, I'm
I
going to
tell you
mention
what
one.
happened. I was on the pep squad, and we were traveling.
You had the
team.
pep squad?
Yeah, then, and we would go, and when they would make a touchdown, we would all just rally, just jump up. So during that time, Mr. Foster was over the football team, the football coach. So we didn't know when they made a touchdown, but though we would ramble, we would jump up, we see the ball had to jump up. So we told him one day, Mr. Foster, we don't know when to make a touchdown. He said, oh my God, how do y'all do? We said, we watch the boys. So he took us in chapel and taught us the game.
Now, you talk about James Foster, that was the Boy Scout leader.
Yeah, he was my teacher.
He died, didn't he?
Yeah.
He lived right up here, about 5 blocks. Well, now, do any of you remember a great running back for Crooms that had the name Prince Albert?
Sherman.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, Prince Albert Sherman. Yes, I remember him.
He was a great run. Do you remember him, Earl?
Yes, he was. I remember him. He
I-
was heavy.
I gave you a picture of his sister when she retired. That
Rosa
was
Sherman.
Rosa Sherman.
Okay, well, I guess we have
Prince
it here
Albert's
then.
I gave it to you, the
Rosa
last
Sherman
picture,
Brown.
one of the last pictures.
Oh, okay, the ones I still have.
Now, the room, when we talked about this about 3 months ago with some old timers, did they name him that out? At that time, there was a tobacco can of tobacco, Prince Albert. Did they nickname him from that tobacco?
I really don't know.
Nobody
When
ever
I
knew
got
his last
married-
name.
When I got married,
He was
he and my
Sherman.
husband were good friends.
His name was Sherman.
Sherman.
That was his last
Last
name.
name.
Last name.
Well, he had a tremendous reputation.
But we called him Prince Albert Sherman.
And
I
y'all
thought that was
used
his name.
you used to play the land.
That was his name. Prince Albert Sherman.
You folks played as Crooms played Euclid in D-Land, and it was a real battle every year, wasn't it? Remember? Well, I remember that I saw one of the games in which Prince Albert scored several touchdowns. He was powerful.
Yes, he was.
And did y'all play basketball?
Yeah.
Yes, I was a tough basketball player. You didn't hear about me?
I bet Alfreda could dance like her brother.
I can play basketball. Eunice Wilson and I, Eunice Wilson, the one from Pennsylvania here now. Thelma Shepherd.
I played
Yeah, she
basketball
played
in
all
my
the
time.
You had
Yeah,
children,
Olive
boy?
Johnson and Rita.
So did she.
Yeah, and, oh gosh, we were great. We were great in the Central Florida area. Yeah, tough basketball.
And who was your coach?
Mrs. Eva Handy. Was it Hannah
Grace.
Myers?
Grace.
Grace. Okay, Grace. She taught us that. Then Mr. Foster would teach us too sometimes, James Foster.
That's
And what was the other lady, the tall lady, Mrs. I can't remember her name.
really came across the mind.
He brought her in from
Had
some-
long, pretty hair.
Right.
From
I
Daytona.
can't think of her name. But she taught us also.
Who's the girl that married Erskine Hawkins?
That was
my
that was
coach. Flossie Browning.
Flossie, yeah.
Was your
Flossie
coach?
Browning. She was my basketball coach.
But
Now
she didn't teach us. There was another one.
She was
Another.
our coach.
Yeah. I forgot her name. What did that say?
Well, I was going to go back before I forgot. You married, what was the name of the gentleman you married?
Riley Boykin.
And he was from Sanford?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And then y'all have children?
We had 2 boys.
And their names were?
One was Bernard Boykin. He passed in,
Raleigh.
I forget what year my son passed. He had a brain tumor. He was out of school 2 days. And he just passed in his sleep one night.
How old was he?
He was 14 when he passed. It was just before his 15th birthday. And my older son still lives. He lives in Philadelphia, and he's paralyzed. He can't walk. He had the second stroke paralyzed him. But he's well taken care of. He has a nice wife, and someone comes in to see about him in the morning and takes care of him until she comes back. She works at the hospital.
Did you have any grandchildren?
One granddaughter. She lives in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Debbie.
Now,
and
did you
Debbie.
teach too?
No,
You didn't teach?
no. I served the time of trooper, Miss Strickland, in Booker Town when she taught out there when I first got married.
She was in the insurance business for years and years and years.
24 years.
Casualty insurance?
Life insurance.
Life insurance?
Uh-huh.
Well, let me ask
What was
another.
the company? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What company? Afro?
Afro and Atlanta Life. I first started with Atlanta Life, then I left that company. I was there for 3 years, then I started with the Afro, and I was with them 24 years. That's where I retired from there.
Do any of y'all know anything about who might have been the first mayor of Goldsboro?
I don't know, because I thought my father-in-law was, but I asked Miss Lamb. She's like the older person that knows so much about it. She said no. So he was the foreman at the railroad shop, but he wasn't the mayor, but I don't know where I thought he was the mayor.
Do you know whether Goldsboro was incorporated before Eatonville or after?
After.
It was.
It was the first one.
It was? That's a fact, you know that.
Right, it's the first one. Goldsboro was the second.
Was the second. Do you know anything about that, Miss Wallace?
Only from what I've heard people say.
Tell us what you
Only
heard.
thing I've heard that Goldsboro, Eatonville was the first all black in the United States. And Goldsboro being the second black community with officials and everything in the Goldsboro area.
Do you know how that became unincorporated? How it?
Well, it's
We know that Fort Mellon was incorporated before Sanford too. Now Sanford was incorporated in 1884. Do you know whether Goldsboro preceded that?
the year. I have some information at home. I don't know exactly.
Could you get some information? And but none of you remember the names of anybody that might have been.
Well, she was saying about her mother-in-law, Miss Boykin. She was instrumental. She could tell you more about that.
I got information from a lady that know way back that she was out there then. Then she told me that the three leading families that she remember way back in Goldsboro were the Boykins, the Clarke, and the Cooks, the Cooks family. Those were the three oldest families was in Goldsboro.
When did D.C. Brock come to Sanford? Do y'all remember Brock?
I remember, but I don't know when he came.
Real estate. And you mentioned Refro. You're talking about the Taylor.
He was my classmate. I don't know when they came here.
Yeah.
Now in Goldsboro, we had at one time we had a drugstore, we had a barber shop, and my mother and those ran a little cafe. You know where Mr. Node and those. They had a little shopping area there.
And
that's a tip-top grocery now.
Where was this?
That was under.
In Georgetown or Goldsboro?
That was in Goldsboro.
Goldsboro. Well, now, Dr. Cherry had the drugstore.
Mr. Minott.
Dr. Jerry.
Cherry.
Jerry on Sanford Avenue.
Cherry,
Cherry.
Here on this side. And Herbert Cherry was in the insurance and real estate in Goldsboro, wasn't he?
He was in the real estate.
Just real estate.
He's my neighbor. He lives right across the street from me.
Is Herbert still alive?
Yeah.
Is he in good health?
Yeah.
Good.
He ails sometimes, like all of us when we get older.
How old would he be now?
I don't know. Oh, he's younger than I am. I don't know.
Yeah.
He should be in his 70s.
And all of y'all remember Rachel Lee,
Yes,
right.
Rensselaer.
Nurse Lee.
who delivered over 10,000 children.
Rensselaer, he said.
Nurse
Rachel
Lee.
Lee, yeah.
You remember
She
her,
was a
Joe?
midwife.
Oh, you're talking about the nurse.
Yeah.
I
You
know
know
he's
her?
the one.
Oh yeah, Miss Lee used to live on Sanford Avenue.
The one that was out of the old folks home?
Yeah, she was at the old folks home for years.
There's a nice display out at the
Seminole County Museum.
museum out there. Do y'all remember when Dr. Stark came?
Oh,
When he came, I don't know we were little babies.
We was here before I got married, I know.
Alfreda.
We were babies then.
That's right.
Joe time.
He must have come here in the late 20s or the
Yeah,
early
he
30s.
did.
Must have been
Yeah,
about
he
29
came
or
in-
30
he came in the
because
20s.
I wasn't married when he came.
In the great man.
He came in the 20s.
Because I understand that Louis Jones was his first
Yeah,
delivery.
first delivery, that's what I heard too.
One of the reasons, just as a historic fact that I don't think is anything, that we accomplished in this county the integration of the public school system so much easier than Volusia County and Orange County. In fact, all of the 17 counties that were sued at the same time as Seminole was because of George H. Stark and Randall Chase right there. They had more to do with it than anyone. And everything that was finally done and approved by federal Judge George Young, who was an SAE, John, at Florida when we were there, Mr. Randall Chase and Mr. George Stark approved. And the United States Attorney of the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Education in Washington told me that they had less trouble, contrary to the Orlando Sentinel, and working out a plan in this county than any place in the state that they worked with. And it was Randall Chase. Did you know, y'all know who he was? The picture of that gentleman?
Yeah, back here.
Was he,
Wonderful man.
was he mayor at that time?
Who?
Come on, Chase.
Was he
No,
mayor at that
no,
time?
no, he
You say
was
Chase,
just
you say.
Randall Chase.
That's who my husband worked for him. I used to go many days and pick up the check up there.
You
He
did?
was home for him.
Well, he was a wonderful man, and he thought the greatest of Dr. Stark, and Dr. Stark admired Mr. Chase,
Yeah.
and they just worked together beautifully. And anything that the school board gave me, I ran by both of them. And I knew if they two agreed, and the only thing you remember we ever had any real problem that survived was Midway. You remember that, Alfreda? And finally, Dr. Stark and Mr. Chase and I said to the government, we don't know how to work it out. Whatever you want to do is all right. And they couldn't work it out. But the rest of the system worked smoothly, and it took a long time to get Midway straight.
You were the lawyer for the school board, right?
Yeah,
Attorney for the school
went
board.
through that. But Dr. Stark had a tremendous influence all over this county. Alfreda, now you went to Crooms, did you?
Right.
Did you go to Goldsboro Elementary first?
No, I went to a private school.
Who?
Private school. Mrs. Pearl Days. The building is directly behind where I live now. It was on 12th Street. And she had a private school. And my parents sent me there. And the little building is still standing there now. And I asked the people not to throw it away. The first time they had an indoor bathroom, indoor toilet. It's still on the outside of the building. It's rusting. And they wouldn't give it to me, but it's still there. But I went to school there, and everybody else was going out to Goldsboro. And I went there, and she had like little benches. And she taught everything like you taught. She taught everything in the kindergarten. Then after kindergarten, I went to Crooms at 4th grade.
At 4th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Did Crooms have 1 through 12?
No. See, I went to the kindergarten at Mrs. Pearl Days.
Yeah, I know, but did Crooms Academy...
Start at 4.
Started. Oh, I got you.
Started.
See, the primary school was called Goldsboro.
Yes.
1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade.
There you go. I got
Right.
you. And that was 4 through 12. I got you.
Oh, when it started out, it was 10th grade. And everybody that graduated from 10th grade had to go to Bethune-Cookman or North Carolina, wherever,
Oh,
some
I
other
didn't know
school.
that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Did you know that, Clarke?
When did they start with the 12th grade?
I finished, now I finished 12th out there.
And that was what year? 38, yeah.
Well, I finished high school in 38. I finished in 38, high school at Crooms. But a long time before that, that's when they had the just the 10th grade. And
Well, Bethune, you talking about the toner? You mean our children in Seminole had to go to 11th and 12th grade to the tone every day?
right.
Bus back and forth?
Until they got at this,
Until the
they
11th
got
grade
it
was added.
later.
Yeah.
I declare, I never knew that. Did you ever know that?
No, I didn't.
Right. And then see, Professor Crooms bought some land. You remember the land where the library is now? He bought some land, and then he and the school would go over and initiated some kind of deal. And then the 2 other grades were added. And the library. He was a far-sighted man.
Oh, yes.
He was a remarkable
Well, you
person.
know, Alfreda, Dr. Crooms was close to Mary McLeod Bethune, and they organized the corporation that created Bethune Beach,
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
south of New Smyrna Beach.
I
Dr.
had
Crooms
two.
was involved in that.
I had 2 lots over there.
Did you have 2 lots?
So,
Dr. Crooms sold them to you?
no, See, I was going to Bethune-Cookman, and the teachers, all of us invested in
There
some,
you go.
in some lots.
Well,
and
now-
he said, we'll never build over here. Get rid of them.
Now listen, and you can't imagine what they cost now.
Ah, that's right.
Alfreda, you were born here,
Born in Sanford.
and your parents were
Daniel Jenkins and Francis Jenkins.
Jenkins.
They were originally from South Carolina.
And they came here when?
Oh, gosh. Now you're talking about the Dark Ages. I don't know when they came,
Yeah.
but I have a brother and sister that was born in Longwood. And Longwood was like Sanford. And then they would come into Sanford to get the groceries and thing on horses, wagon, and go back to Longwood. Then they move at the house on Southwest Road now.
Now you had, is the brother you're talking about, was that our Hookie?
Your Hookie, as you call it,
And
Hookie.
he died about 4 years ago. You have a sister?
No, she passed before my brother a long time ago.
So,
She attended Harper's.
yeah.
I have a photograph of she and some other people that attended Harper when they were little kids, little kindergarten kids at Harper Academy. So she passed a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, now, you were, how do you say,
Cosmetologist.
cosmetologist.
Hairdresser.
Teacher?
I was a cosmetologist first as an operator,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted to be a teacher. I left. I went to California and stayed out there 8 years, and I got my license to teach. I only have a teacher's license for California. I only have a teacher's license for Florida.
Yeah.
But I taught out there for 8 years, cosmetology.
Now, you married?
Not now. My husband passed. I
Your
married
husband?
Willie Wallace from Orlando.
I remember that, and I remember Willie. And did y'all have children?
One boy, Michael.
And he's
He's here.
in Sanford.
He works in Orlando. He comes here on the weekend.
Okay. Now, then you decided, what was the program that the government has that allows you to go back to school that you were talking?
It's a program, they call it the Green Thumb.
Green Thumb?
Right. Anybody, a senior citizen that wants to go to school again, the government will pay you to go to school, whatever you want to learn. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm learning how to be an educational teacher, academics.
And where are you going?
Goldsboro Elementary School, here in Sanford.
And you will, how long do you have to go?
Well, when you think you're capable enough to teach, then you have to go on and get the other hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of classes. But you can also substitute, and I substitute now too.
When do you think you would be qualified for a certificate from our state?
I don't think I really want to qualify, because that's Mr. Minott. You have to go to forever going to school. They're still going to school. But I think I wanted to do something with the little children.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get a little more education than I had to handle children. So I've been out there 5 years. And I love it. But I don't think I'm going any farther.
I admire you. I wish I had the energy.
Does someone come in from one of the colleges to teach?
No,
you
I
or
learn from the
something?
teachers that's teaching. I'm in a classroom every day. I'm in the SLD classroom every day.
Oh, you're learning.
Under another teacher, sit in the
okay.
classroom with her, and she let me teach whatever the child is poor in, reading, math, whatever. And that's how I learn.
Like Grace Marie, when you get to be a senior citizen, the government will pay you to go back to school.
Now, I went back to school.
You did?
After I retired, I went over to First Impression.
First, I've heard of them for a long time.
Yeah.
Was
and,
Hortense Caldwell
this
mixed
Earl-
up in that? Hortense Caldwell?
No.
She wasn't.
This is on 7th Street. And they had a program they do have now, early intervention. The school board paid me to teach children 4 years old. And I taught 3 years over there.
Yeah. Listen, I think it's important. First impressions, that's not a public, that's not.
No, that's a daycare center.
That's a private.
Daycare center.
And who runs that?
Brooks, he was
Meadowbrook.
Jimmy Brooks, now it's Meadowbrook.
And they take children how old?
Meadowbrook. They take them from babies through 4th grade. Through 4 years old.
Then they move into the
kindergarten.
Pre-kindergarten and then kindergarten.
That is pre-kindergarten.
That is
That early
pre-kindergarten.
intervention.
And just as a matter of information, how much does it cost for a parent to have a child there?
But the school board furnished that.
The school board furnishes
The early intervention, they paid me.
it. That's a federal program. then, isn't it?
Federal program, they paid
There
me,
you
and I
go.
had to go to University of Central Florida, for my certificate had expired. I went and took two let me see, I got 6 hours, 2 sections.
Yeah.
And I went over there and
Yeah.
taught, but I didn't want to go through all that other stuff I had to go through. So I was tired, I retired again.
Let me ask y'all a question. This is really off the subject, but this is a presidential year. And one of the candidates for president is including in his stock speech that the public schools should be open till 6 o'clock in order to, what do you let? I think that the reasoning is that it would provide care, to eliminate the daycare, which is running from $68 to $80 a week around here now for 5 days, which, is really hard on a lot of people. What do you think?
Grace Marie apparently can't imagine staying that long.
He's not proposed any salary increase.
They're not
If it
probably
goes
gonna
through,
pay these people.
We'll see how many people will go do early retirement.
Right.
The only way I see
That fellow's got a lot
it
of
would be
courage.
successful. They have some recreational programs, and the children would love to do that. But now they have some extra teachers.
Right. They must be gonna have 2 sessions. They have 2 sessions because they must really have a class that starts in the morning at 8:30 and get off at 12, and another bunch come on and stay until 6.
Well, you know what they're aiming at. They're trying to
Teachers
figure
the
out
main
some
thing.
way to keep children under some kind of supervision until parents get
But he didn't
home.
say anything about money, did he?
Now, they have that program now. They have that program at the daycare centers. They take children until the parents get off from work.
Well, that's what made me think that. They do already?
But they
Well, I
have
know,
some there.
we have our learning center at First Baptist, and I believe it's $68 a week. And it's a problem, folks. Maybe they need to look into that.
You have heard of Mrs. Annie O'Neill, haven't you?
Yes?
Okay, well, she does that. In the afternoon, she keeps children, and she has a bunch of them. She teaches them, and they're on the playground.
Yeah.
And then some of the parents, what you call them, are the latchkey kids, is that what it is? When they go back home and stay with something. But Mrs. O'Neill is a remarkable person. She does a beautiful job
Yeah.
with children.
Then they have some program from the county, from the city, that pay people to come out there, when they come out there at 3, sometime in the afternoon and for 2 or 3 hours, and keep children and let them go home. All these public schools they do.
Well, they had a bus that would pick up the children from the elementary school and take them to kindergarten school, and they would stay there until the parents come pick them up. I don't know how it's arranged financially, but they would pick them up.
That 4C program.
And then rather than let them go back home and stay alone, they would go to a kindergarten school and stay until the parents picked them up.
Our pastor and his wife was out there. Goes for that program. They still have that program out there.
Doug, is that Keys that's recommending that? The one that's running for president?
You know, I honestly have forgotten. It's either Lamar Alexander.
Oh, I thought it was Keys.
Or is it Keys?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure
I'm
either,
impressed with Keys. He's a very articulate individual.
Yes, he is.
Let's get back to...
No.
We haven't talked to Earl about Crooms or anything. Earl ought to be able to tell us.
I see somebody waving at me. You go ahead.
When did you graduate from Crooms?
I graduated in 1948.
48.
Alfreda, you
And where
graduated
did you?
38.
And
That's the year Doug and I graduated from Seminole High.
Yeah.
So,
Because you were much older than I am.
I'm sure I am. I was born here in 21.
Let's don't talk about that.
Yeah, I received a Bachelor of Arts in music.
What other grade schools did you go to? You go to Hopper or
No, I went to Goldsboro Elementary.
Goldsboro Elementary?
The primary, or whatever it's called, from first through third grade. And then Crooms 4 through 12.
4 through 12. Okay, and then did you come right back and teach?
No, I taught in Stark, Florida, Bradford County, for 3 years. Then I came back and started teaching at Crooms.
Okay, and you taught music?
Music, English, science, history.
all of the above.
Whatever they gave you.
Yeah, when I first started out, I only had 2 classes of music because Miss Polly was still there, and she had the middle school music, and I had the high school music. And so they had me every year going to another subject for black until finally when Miss Polly retired, and then I had all music.
There's another name that's given to Earl too, the big M, Mr. Music. Mr. Music. Anything about music, he is there.
And then in 1970, September, August, I went to Crooms, and Mr. Blackshear told me, "You're not supposed to be here, you're supposed to be over at Seminole." So I went to Seminole, and Mr. Barnett was the principal at the time.
Mr. Who?
Barnett, Dick Barnett.
Weren't you assistant principal?
Yeah.
Not then.
No, this is when I first got up here. And I taught music during that time. And then for 2 years, I taught music and black history.
You play the piano?
Very well.
And,
Mr. Music.
No?
Mr. Music.
and then I became the registrar in 1973.
You didn't play for Erskine Hawkins?
No, I wasn't back in that time.
It was a great band.
I remember it on the radio.
And then in 1983, I became assistant principal.
When did you retire?
1993.
Who were some of the teachers at Crooms when you went there as a student?
As a student?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Francina Martin, Catherine Holly,
Walter Holly's wife.
Grace Hankerson, Eva Myers, Andy, Thelma Blackshear, Evelyn Anderson, Angie Douglas, H.L. Douglas, Nathaniel, Napoli Crooms, Jenkins.
Is that his daughter?
Mrs. W.R. Crooms.
What was her first name?
Wealthy.
Welpy?
Ramsden Street. John Lawson.
Was Willie Ashley there? Did y'all know him?
He talked with me.
He talked with you?
He moved up to Seminole as,
He was my
as assistant,
Really?
as assistant principal, wasn't he, that first year?
Yeah.
Willie was a friend of mine, and we grew up together. His mother practically raised me, Maddie.
Okay, then who were some of those that you taught with over there?
That's the brainstorm.
I'm telling you.
C.B. Franklin.
He's still teaching, isn't he?
No, Bill Bowman. Making all of mine.
He was the coach, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was the principal too.
Frank.
He's a bail bondsman.
I called him last night. He lived right across in front of me. I called him last night. I said, I'm locked up in the room here. They breaking in on me.
She was broken into last night.
Oh my
Is
goodness.
that right?
Yeah, I went to sleep. I was looking at TV. I usually let my TV stay on all night. And I was looking, my son wasn't in. And I was looking at TV, and the alarm went off. Woke me up. I'm nervous. I was nervous all night, the rest of the night. This is about 2 o'clock. And so, naturally, the phone rang. And so usually, if they think it's just a motion something, they'll say, Miss Franklin, do you want me to send the policeman? They didn't tell me that. They say, Miss Franklin, we sending the police, stay in. So I was locked in my room already. And I had my dog in. My dog was in the utility room, been in the utility room, you know, since it's been cold. But he doesn't want to go out now, so so he was in my son's room, and but I was locked off from him, and so they had to call me to tell me to let the policeman in, but they had been all around the house. And so this morning I was wondering, so the policeman went all through the house with me to see if any doors were unlocked, and so my latch was in, but the door wasn't locked. And something they did to the door this morning, I just push on it, it goes open. One of the doors. See, that security system has a flash on what station it's on, and that station was 5. So I knew it was in the back of my Florida room. And so I went this morning, I said, let me see what happened here last night. And I went to all the doors, and when I pushed on that went open. And the funniest thing, one lady went down there on, you know where Holly Avenue, went across there and told Griffin, go down there and see about Miss Franklin. So they must have known something, see. And that alarm, I let it ring till that policeman came. I alarmed the whole neighborhood. Because I was afraid to cut it off. So you cut it off, well, they thank you. But I let it, they had to call and tell me to let the policeman in. But I got so nervous.
I know.
Doris Thomas.
That's Commissioner Thomas's wife.
Mrs. Douglas. Angie Douglas.
She's still living.
Is she at home?
No, she's at her home. Who's that doing that person?
Well,
And Laura Parker. Laura Parker.
oh,
She taught out there.
she did teach out there before they integrated?
Laura
Parker.
Yeah.
Huh.
And Jackie Pearson. Jackie Lawson.
This was doing the integration now, right?
Well,
This is at Crooms.
It's that Crooms, right?
that would be the late 60s. So Laura and Jackie.
Yeah.
Okay. What were some of the clubs that you had at Crooms?
At Crooms.
Yeah.
Well, like the New Farmers America. Future Farmers America, that's what they had. That was there. Homemakers America.
And Miss Lawson taught homemaker.
And then we had, I don't know if they continued the Welroy Shark Club then or not, but I know they had Future Business to do. And Highway.
Both Highway and Tri-Highway?
I don't know if they continued that Welroy Shark Club or not after Miss Vincent's left.
What was that?
It was a Welroy Shark Club, but
How do you spell that?
W-E-L-R-I-C-H. That's named after Mrs. Crooms, principal's wife.
How they got that name?
W-E-L-R-I?
R-I-C-H, I think.
Well, okay. And what kind of club was that?
Her name was
They taught the girls, mannerisms and all kinds of things like that.
Girl stuff.
You had to be on the elite side to remember that.
Oh, it was only for girls. Okay.
And they'd take them over to the beach and do parties and all that.
Oh, it's kind of like a sorority or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to pass it around so see if y'all can identify any of these people on this photograph.
That's about all I can remember.
I'm going to pass those pictures around for people that'd like to see them.
I want them to see if they can identify some of these people on the...
Anything else, Grace?
Ms. Mobley has given me a couple of pictures to put in the paper, which should be in this one. So I've got these names.
Oh, you have those?
Yes.
Oh.
Some of those
She gave me those names.
Yeah, we got your copies from, all of those are some from the copies.
And I think this is the other one she gave me.
You got those names?
Yeah, this is the other one. So we've got names for those two.
We have the list, like this list go with this.
That was a graduation.
for you.
This list go with this
He was a
one.
little fellow, wasn't he?
This list go with this one. We don't have a list for that.
Okay.
So you don't have a list for that?
Well, I have these names. This should be in the papers, I hope today.
Let me see that.
That's right, Eloise Banks, out there. When I was teaching.
Eloise, you been taught me typing.
When I was teaching too.
Eloise, you Banks.
And she came to, went to Seminole before I did.
Still
Yeah,
good?
that's right.
Eloise
Still
Banks.
good at it?
You know, you get rusty. I have to bone up on this.
What was,
Was Evan.
You recognize that?
Hmm?
You recognize this boy? Is that one of the children?
what were some of the things at Crooms that were different from at Seminole High when you came over?
Well, we're accustomed to formal graduations. That's where I had that idea from. Because we definitely had to march, and you had to be in step, and those gowns had to be on right. Yep. One thing that everybody looked forward to, especially when Mr. Crooms was there. We used to have it at night.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would be 1 o'clock in the morning before you get out of graduation.
They really felt like they graduated.
Right. And you stayed there until he decided you would leave. Because we'd have school board members who would have to leave. They'd come out there, to visit. Either award something of that nature. It was definitely. Oh, and when I finished high school, I was a recipient of the, what do you call that thing? It was a state scholarship that was given by the state.
They're going to be in the
I had
paper.
to pay every 4 years.
Oh, they already have names?
Yeah.
Oh, great, then that's fine.
That's that teacher scholarship.
Yeah, you had, one thing, you had to do.
You had to teach 4 years after? Yeah. I don't know the name of it, but I remember.
And that was my reason to go to. And then, otherwise, I had applied for admission to Mohawk and Howard.
Is that all right?
I don't know what.
Did everybody see Ms. Boykin's pictures there? And let me ask y'all, do you have anything, Alfreda, you were in business one time, weren't you? Do y'all have any little things, little signs or something that, or little things relating to business or pictures or anything that you might make available to Irma and to Alicia to see, and maybe they might want a copy and to put in our museum here?
You mean that type of business I had?
Yeah, or like a sign or an advertisement or something. Yeah.
I don't know.
Does Herbert Cherry still have his business and building out there?
Right.
Anything that y'all think that would have some...
Daniels has a filling station out there around there, but it's not really. Daniels.
I don't know him. Daniel?
John Daniels.
John Daniels.
Oh, I remember. He was on the community college board. Yeah.
He had a business there. He had a business out there.
Who does this belong to right here? Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know whether Alicia wants to try to deal with this or not, but that's history right here. Yeah, see, this man was postmaster under William McKinley. And he was appointing Miss Boykins. This was your mother-in-law as a postmaster.
And this is her picture.
Of Goldsboro, and that's her picture. Of Goldsboro, the city of Goldsboro.
Is that right?
Yeah.
This is a picture she and her family. When that's my husband there when he's a little boy.
Yeah.
What year was this? I couldn't
It
figure it
was
out.
in 1898. This is May the 11th in the year 1898. And it's signed by Charles Emery Smith, and McKinley was president in 1898. I suppose you want to hold on to that picture, don't you?
Yes.
Yes.
And she got a
We've
picture
already
of
gotten a
it.
copy
She
of
took
it.
it out and got a picture of it.
Did she? I was going to say that picture ought to be both here as well as over in our old grammar school.
She got a picture of it. She got a picture of both of these.
Yeah. Have you all been through the grammar school?
Yeah, but I gave some material for that, but I
You
never
should
did.
do that. You would
Student
enjoy
museum.
that.
Are you talking about the student museum?
Yes. Margaret Reynolds.
That was my principal at one time. I mean, she was assistant principal
At Pinecrest. Miss
I was working
Margaret.
out there.
Wonderful
That was
person,
my friend.
wasn't she?
She was my
Oh,
friend.
She was.
loved by everyone.
Yeah.
Well, Irma, now let's see. Did you grow up around here?
No, I didn't.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Georgia,
Whereabouts in Georgia?
Whitman, Georgia.
Quitman.
I graduated from Brooks High School,
Uh-huh.
and I moved to Sanford in 1955.
Uh-huh. Did you play sports?
Yes, I was a basketball player.
I figured that.
Now,
When'd you come to Sanford?
1955.
55. Well, you've been around here a long time.
Yes. My husband and I lived in Philadelphia for a while, but
Mm-hmm.
this was home.
Mm-hmm.
I gave her a picture of where that paper has that horse and buggy and something else. Remember the newspaper?
Somewhere around here.
Now that's
The last one you gave me?
Yeah, it's a newspaper. I gave you the newspaper. It has a horse and buggy where they were. I don't know where they live in May. They live
It's
in.
probably in the files in there. We put them in.
And then I gave you a picture of Mother Wilson.
It's in the, we have a file on Mother Wilson.
Excuse me, when she found at the Good Samaritan home.
We have a file on the Good Samaritan home and Mother Wilson, and it's in her file.
You know that?
I don't know the lady, the other
That's
lady.
Mrs. Ralph Austin Smith, who is
Ralph.
very, very ill and is 96, I believe. Yeah. I believe this is one of the Chase.
Right.
Son, my grandson,
Do you know who it is?
grandson.
Yeah. This is Ms. Ralph Austin.
Yeah.
And that's a Chase boy, but I don't know which one. It's not Randall's boys.
I didn't know which
Calendar.
You think it's a Chase?
I think it probably is.
I believe that
Oh,
this
that's Seda.
Smith's husband. Is that Seminole? Yes, you're right.
That's Seda?
That's Sidney Chase, what would it be, the third or the fourth?
I don't know how number he is.
Oh,
They
okay.
call him
Is
Sido.
that the one, he's in Belgium? Well, no, not
He's
Belgium.
been overseas.
It's Germany, I believe.
Germany, right.
And
That was taken during our
Right.
thing.
now let me ask y'all a question. Irma, would you mind, I know this, I don't want to do it, would you mind asking Alicia if she needs this for any reason? For me, I'd appreciate it, because if we don't, we want to get it back to Miss Boykin, but if she, I don't know, what capacity do y'all have to make copies here?
She does it with a camera, and then we have the dark room back there. Don Vincent usually comes and do our.
Oh, he wouldn't know it. They
He
really,
wouldn't know what to do with it.
can you handle this?
I can try and photograph it,
Can we give it to you now?
yeah. Yeah, I can if I can do it for just right now. I just didn't want to take it out while you were talking.
Well, all right, and because
Let me see what I can do.
fine. Now,
Yeah, I'd
let
love to
me
get a
ask the
copy of
ladies
this,
this. as far as I'm concerned, this has been, it's been so productive. Moving away from education for just a moment, who are some of the people's persons who go back, or but descendants of persons that go way back in our early history, that don't have to necessarily be education people, that could tell us more for posterity about the early times, back in the teens and the 20s and all.
Liz Lambert, she's blind.
Who is that?
Liz Lamb.
See, some of these people I have here.
Who brought all of this?
Those are mine.
Are those yours, Alfreda?
And what is that? Tell us.
Well, I got some generations of people that we should talk with about what we're doing.
Well, that's what I was getting. I didn't know you already had it there.
Yeah, I have it here.
Can you kind of run over it for us a little bit?
It's so many people that I brought it to let it stay here for a while.
Okay.
Oh, good,
Okay.
good.
For a while.
Well, for
And
sure.
like long.
Wonderful, okay.
But now some certain people's on there, I have to get out some
But
information.
Alfreda, who knows the most about our early history that you know of that's alive today? Does Herbert know a lot about it?
She does,
Herbert
right?
Cherry?
She does.
You do?
Well, as far back as I know, but the person that we just mentioned, Miss Lamb, she's blind, but you could call her and make an appointment, and she'd be glad to talk with you. Because I talked with her quite a bit yesterday and last night.
Yeah.
She could tell you more than anybody I know around there, because
When did Dr. Ringland come to Sanford?
oh, he came where he
Late,
wouldn't know about
late.
way back there.
Is he well now?
No, he had a stroke.
I know, I see. But now, they had a brilliant daughter.
Yeah,
Where did she end up?
teaching someplace.
Is she teaching here?
And he has two daughters.
One of them had a scholarship to
Have a
MIT.
son too, didn't you?
Had two daughters
He's a
and a
minister
son.
in Miami.
Did y'all know Charles Collins?
Charles Collins.
That went through Crooms and went on to Tennessee after to college, became a doctor, specialist in cancer.
Kevin.
Oh,
Calvin Collins.
Dr. Collins.
Collins.
Dr. Collins.
Calvin Collins.
Calvin C.
Yeah.
Do y'all know him?
Wasn't he from Midway?
Yeah, he was from a large family in Midway. I was just trying to think of some people that had gone through our public school system and gone on to be well known and be you know, like a few we got, like we had in our class of 1926. You said you started in Crooms in what year?
When I started?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
20, no. Anyway, somebody said Crooms
I went to
was
Crooms
built
fourth
in the late
grade.
20s.
Fourth grade.
Yeah, Crooms was built in the late 20s, wasn't it?
Right.
Well, so was our present Sanford Middle School on the French Avenue, but that was our high school, and it opened in January of 1927. And I was just wondering, we in the class of 1926, we had just a few people, and two of them became world famous. Earl, Red Barber,
Yeah.
and the author of Small Town South.
Bird.